Sup, guys? It's Corrupted
And it's dragging. We back.
back again.
We back.
Sorry about last week. There were technical difficulties, so we
Anybody
couldn't.
that was using Discord last weekend, I was like some issues around that time, and they try to bring y'all the best content possible. We didn't want no technical difficulties, and so it was all good, man. But here we is back again with Gurren Lagann, Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann to be specific,
The arguably the strongest universe in fiction, like
arguably. He
arguably.
got a good case too, man. Hey,
Yeah,
boys was throwing whole goddamn universes at each other, man. Whole existences, man. I don't know how it get no further, no higher than that. But one thing about it, when like we usually give us overview of these shows when we watch them, man, I definitely highly recommend this show, man. It's one of them ones. It takes simple but effective and just take it to a whole different level, man. It's like they start off so simple and then they just build on every little crevice and every little nook that they make and it just build into something great. Like the ending don't match the beginning, and I swear when you watch it from the beginning, you never think it ended up where it got. So
yeah, it's crazy.
I'm
It
def-
originally started as just a parody for mecha anime, since mecha anime was so popular in the early days of anime.
yeah, like Gundam and
Yeah, and
all the spin-offs of
Omega
Gundam,
Man and stuff like that. Yeah.
Mega Man, Mega Man, all that. Yeah.
No, no, no. Omega
Hey,
Man.
bro.
The
Yeah,
it's
Omega
like
Man. That's what I said.
yeah,
Not Mega Man, not the one with
yeah. I thought
the
you said Mega Man.
blue.
That's my
No,
bad.
no. Oh, I said the O
Well,
real
also
fast. I'm
like
sorry.
technically probably something in that, or like Astro Boy, because Astro Boy is
Yeah,
like the
Astro Boy.
original manga. Like I guess you could technically say like mecha's the thing that started anime, if you want to count Astro Boy as a mecha anime, because he fights mechas in it in the OG version from like the 50s and 60s. So,
Yeah, yeah. That's coming back to me now.
but
But
like
yeah,
Gurren
man.
Lagann, like I forget how much I love this show every time I go a while without watching it, and I'm just like, I don't think it's in my top five, and then I rewatch it, and I'm just like, I'm pretty sure it's number 4 or 5. Like every time I rewatch it, like
Shows
every
like
time.
I feel like once if I get to the point where I go back and rewatch it, I'm gonna be the same way. Like, cause right now it's one of the recent ones I got. I can say comfortably that I got a little recency bias going on, and I can get grades in my top five. But I feel like it's one of them shows where no matter which what time you come back to it, you'll always enjoy it to the point you'll feel like it's your top five, and that's just perfect. Like that's what you want. That's what you want, man. Like I used to be hating like all the cheesy stuff, like because you know cliche, old Pokemon, like we're gonna do it type feeling, but they they do it, man. It's a good feeling the way they do it. They keep it going and give you the balance too, because them folks didn't believe Common in the beginning. He was always had that vision, but they didn't believe him in the beginning, and they had that same kind of like easy feel sometimes, but then stuff just was getting pulled off, and you just saw it just kind of building and building.
But also like this is like one of the shows that started the thing where you don't have to be afraid to kill a main character. I feel like I can't think of very many where they're just like in the first 8 episodes they're just
You
like
definitely said that.
we're gonna kill half of the main cast, because you could argue like Kamina and Simone are like the main character and everyone else is just an additional like a side character, because like maybe you could consider Yoko a main character, but that's like it. And they're just like, we're gonna kill everyone's favorite of those 2/3 if you want to count Yoko. Like we're gonna kill one of them in 8 episodes. In a not really a four. It's like a seventh and a half of our episodes. We're just gonna kill everybody's favorite character.
Like a third of the show. We were way through. Yeah. So
Yeah,
it
and they're
felt
just like,
it,
pow. And you're just like, what the
like right in the
fuck,
kiss.
dude? Like what?
Yeah, it threw me for a loop. I didn't expect it. I wholeheartedly did not expect it. I'm over here because they did the cliche, the little kiss setup scene. Like, oh shit, who's finna die? And I
Yeah, no
would have never
way.
guessed it was common. I would
Like
have
the
never
main
guessed it was
character
common.
never
I just
dies after that. It's always the chick. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
it's always
Like
the chick. No, wholeheartedly. And I got upset. I was liking Yoko. I'm like, dang. Like they finna kill the girl off. Like boy, I was wrong. I was wrong as hell. I was so wrong, but I couldn't have been more wrong. I don't even
Also,
think,
like,
man.
do it.
Go
Sorry.
ahead.
What
No,
were
go
you gonna
ahead.
say?
Nah, that's it. Go ahead.
Uh, I was gonna say I also like how Kamina dying off. It's a cheap shot that does it because it's basically like the Beastmen admitting that they can't beat Kamina.
In a straight up
Si-
fight, yep.
yeah, because he was beating all their asses, and then the dude
Because that
jumps out from the
goes,
middle and stabs him in the back.
yeah, jumps out from the middle, stabs him down when they kind of did the jumping of him, kind of what it kind of
Yeah,
felt like, because he hadn't even gotten all the way back into Gurren yet.
yeah, they
He
weren't
hadn't gotten
there
all
in
the way
Lagann. He
to
was
him
just
yet.
chilling in Gurren.
And and they had said that too from the beginning. They was like, yo, they mentioned it like so callously and so casually, like maybe y'all should just go in as Gurren Lagann. Y'all always been stronger that way. And it was like, no, we're gonna try to take it over because he got the trust in him. And then they had, of course, they let the power kind of get to their head a little bit, which was understandable. I mean, they hadn't had that much support come their way in a long time. They pretty much had two separate regions that had came to them at that point. But it kind of all tied right back into like how they was at the beginning, because you see how literally just how they always were saying that the Beastmen were superior and all of that stuff, and then just when it got to they actually got on the same playing foot in the same fight, that they actually had to use undercut techniques to get ahead, because it always went so much deeper than what they always said. Like when Lord Genome came out and said that, oh yeah, y'all not superior, y'all are inferior, that like playing superior to humans. And it made all the whole puzzles come together. And it just from the beginning, like even when they was in the villages and stuff, we always saw how the humans themselves was putting themselves down, and the humans themselves just never really wanted to see anything more than what was already in front of them. And it's all just a big old metaphor, and Common always been that one. He always been the one that's always been a level step above the people around. That's how he kind of was set up. And of course, if anytime he got on the equal level of them, he always come out a little bit more victorious. So he needed undercut technique to kind of do something, because they knew if they didn't undercut him, he was gonna go to the top like he always was aiming for.
Also, like just like the one-liners that Kamina has, he has like two of them that has
And
stuck
legendary,
with me since like I believe I watched this originally in middle school, and I've just had those one-liners stuck with me since then. Like, who the hell do you think I am? Or don't believe in yourself, believe in the me that believes in you. Like, I remember
bro.
those since like middle school, dog.
I
Like,
was
they're so
randomly
good.
saying, "Who the hell do you think I am?" Just randomly after finishing watching this, bro. It's like so usable. It's like so easy, and it's so like intense. Like the way you have to watch it is you see how they use it. It's like, bro, it just kind of tongue so good, and then like it just fit like every situation like so perfectly.
Yeah, and it's just it just fits so well with his character too. Like, if we go back to the beginning of the show, like he's down there because his dad had to leave him there because his dad had to go do something, and they don't really explain what his dad has to go do. But
At
so his
all.
dad leaves
You
him
know,
there, and he doesn't want to be there, obviously. So he keeps trying to break out, but he makes friends with Simone, and I like how the whole time you think like you don't learn it until like episode 9 or 10, where Simone thinks he's the one that Kamina's spurring on, but Kamina's just spurring him on because he believes in Simone so much, and he knows if he believes in Simone, then Simone can get him through it, like the whole time, which is just chef's kiss. Just
big chef's kiss to that. It's a big
it's
chef's
just
kiss to that.
as
It's just even when we go back to
man, it's
like so
awesome.
much. Yeah, it's like because Kamina was pretty much the symbol. You know, they literally led him up to be the symbol. Like there's this meme going around about it lists a bunch of people who had the most influence like on their in their verse, and I know Kamina's not on there, but Kamina could definitely well be a candidate on there. You know, like he had a lot of influence for what his verse was trying to accomplish. Even when we start from the beginning and see just how he influenced in someone in Simone to come up out of his despair and actually do something more than just, what he felt he was capable of. That way we get to don't believe in you, believe in the you that believes, believe in the me that believes in you. It just all that like just freaking piles up, and to take him away out of the freaking story is even a chef's kiss in of itself. Now being in of it wasn't a chef's kiss. Like watching it and feeling that was not a chef's kiss at all. I was in a little bit of despair, but like after hindsight 2020, seeing it now, it's actually it all paid off, and it was for the better. I definitely see. I don't think Simone becomes what he does if Kamina doesn't go, and
Oh, he
that was
100% doesn't.
they yeah they freaking frowned upon those facts in the show, but it's it's true, man. You can't really kind of spin it no other way than that. But Simone does his thing off of that, but it just goes to show what kind of person Kamina really was to him, and not even to him, but to Team Gurren or Die Gurren, what they ended up becoming.
Like, I love when they first, like, first episode, when they get when they first find Lagann. Well, Simone finds Lagann, and he's trying to, Kamina's trying to explain to Yoko, or no, it might be the second episode. Um, and he's talking to Yoko because in the first episode they're all in the cockpit together, so he doesn't have to talk to Yoko separately. But when he's talking to Yoko, and Yoko's just like, I don't think he's gonna be able to do shit. Like he's just a little kid. Cause Simone, which is funny, cause Yoko's like only like a year or two older than Simone in the story.
Right.
Cause Simone's like 13 or 14, and Yoko's 15 or 16. I can't remember. Um, but it's like just like, why you talk shit? You're only a year or two older than him. But she's just like, I don't think he can do it. And Common is just like, Simone will pull through. I know it doesn't make sense. You see, it's all the same. I have faith in him because I have faith in myself. It's all the same as far as I'm concerned. And then they just go out there and they just beat Viral's ass and combine into Gurren Lagann. And it's just, man, I can't get over how good it feels whenever Common is proved right with that stuff. Just because you're just like, fuck yeah. You know what I mean? Like, though I will say, like, the fight scenes aren't the best. They play off like Pokemon fight scenes a lot, where they're just like name of attack,
I think
and then
they started off like pretty bad, but progressively got better.
yeah,
Like it was only so much improvement you could do with that type of fight style, but they flushed it out at least a little bit
yeah,
more before they got
like
to the
like
before they got to those last little hits and last little big attacks. They did flush it out a little bit more,
yeah. I think
but
it
that's all I can ask
works
for.
because like, what else are you gonna do with a mecha fight? You know what I mean? Like shoot guns and stuff like that. Like there's not much else because it would feel unrealistic if everything's a sword fight. You know what I mean? Like if like especially when we get into the big fights where they have to use guns and stuff. So I guess like it works in that regard, but that's like the only ding on the show that it has. But also like for the time period that it came out in, I don't really think that's a ding because like fight scenes weren't really crazy in 2007. Ignore Naruto Bridge arc because I think that was coming out close to the same time. So, but that's like the only negative thing is the early fight scenes, but the animation for them is still cool. Like the animation for the final attacks, it's not just like the Pokemon uh, problem where they say the name of the attack and you see Thunderbolt happen on the screen, and then no, it's like a wholesale ass like crazy animation where Lagann throws Gurren and then it drills
Yeah.
a hole through Viral's suit, like or like when they fight Viral and he's just like they break his helmet and they take his helmet to have a samurai helmet, like like that was like
They, yeah, and then it was almost like a lot of these times I was looking at the mechanic. What is it, Leorin,
Liron.
Leo something, Leron. That's what it is. I kept looking at him like, bro, you just feeding into whatever they bring back to you, ain't it? Like you said, just took the same. We want a samurai helmet. Just throw it on there, and then you see progressively as the story goes on, that samurai helmet just gets more like into it. And
And
I
more
the
ornate.
animation quality too. Exactly, more ornate, more like bedazzled, more detailed. It like changes with with the costume, with the mech every time they get an upgrade. And it the animation reached the peak for me when the glasses he started using the glasses as a freaking shuriken slash boomerang slash sword.
Yeah, that was dope.
Like it was, bro, when they started doing that, I'm like, oh boy, that willpower fighting spirit. That's when it started feeling real because like you just using everything,
Or
everything.
the what's it called thing, um when crap, I'm trying to think of the name of it. When he the Giga Drill, that that to me was always like the art that made me go, what the fuck? Like where he would grow the two drills and then the drills would fuse together and it'd be the giant fuck off drill. I think it's called Giga Drill Impact. That was always the thing of the art style that made me go, what the fuck? Like I remember
Exactly. And then
seeing that in middle school.
so you can actually remember it that far. It's like I didn't even look to see how long ago it had actually come out, but to think that came out when you was in middle school, I ain't trying to point your age out here corrupt, and I ain't gonna tell them, but like that's crazy, bro. If this kind of quality was out there back then, like
Yeah.
I'm thinking this came out within the last 10 years, like within
Nah,
the
this shit
last
came
8 or so
out
years.
it came out in 2007.
Damn, could have fooled me. Could have
Yeah.
fooled the hell out of me.
Yeah,
Real
it came out
talk.
before Full Metal Alchemist.
Cause
The OG.
not even just the anime, and crazy you mentioned Full Metal Alchemist. That was a point I was about to bring up. Like we look at a lot of things like Full Metal Alchemist that came out. I crown Full Metal Alchemist as having one of the best plot series like ever. Just getting to it, being immersed into it, able to understand like the whole nine. And I get to Gurren Lagann here, like we come from that to this, and it's kind of the same way. And even so much as like we come from the last trope being, good sacrifice will help you, bad sacrifice, to them you just don't know which one you're gonna pick. To these dudes ain't even really they just, are we gonna sacrifice or not? Like, is we going through this or not? Like, is you finna chicken out or not? Like we need to go. And it just, that whole trope just magnified across every situation. Like even when Simone went into his despair, you know why he went despair. Because everyone can look at that situation, point the only reason they did not win was because Simone was lacking his willpower. That nigga was over here like upset that he ain't kissed the girl. Well, you didn't put the girl over the whole mission. You know what I'm saying? Like they looking at you like you messed it up, but ain't nobody know that. And I love that part too, that he never really told anybody and what happened for real, except, correct me if I'm wrong, but bro already knew, didn't it?
Which part?
When cause the whole part where the mission where they was taking over the whatever they call that thing, the dreadnought little land yacht that the dude had. I
Oh,
had the name.
the thing that becomes that Gurren.
Yeah, the thing that
I
becomes
don't remember
Lagann.
its
Like in
original
that whole
name.
situation, I wrote it down. Now I can't freaking remember where it is, but if I find it, I'll let you. Oh, Daigazon,
That's it.
Daigunzen,
Daigunzen. Yeah. Daigunzen.
Daigunzen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
when they
it
was taking
becomes
over that.
that Gurren. Yeah.
Like, correct me if I'm wrong, because when bro, one of the speech he gave up there when he jumped in him was he was telling him to get it together, but I'm trying to remember because I know I looked over that scene a couple days ago again, but it was like he jumped in. I know he told him to get them together, but it was something else he told him. And I remember it was like about. I don't think it was about the girl, but I know Yoko ends up finding out way later that oh, did you know that I had a thing for Common? And he like, yeah, I knew. So he never. I like the fact that he never told her until like the end of it. Like even after, you would think that after Bruh died, he would have just went at it, but nah, like she kind of hated him too, and it was all for the better. Like it all kind of like mapped up and kind of went into the same plot. Cause I was, bruh, when they was all finna go, it looked like they was finna exile on and had Lagann up in the trash heap. I was over there kind of losing it a little bit. But all of it just kind of came back together into a big metaphor, which was like how the whole team pretty like when you looking back on the nine, seeing Kamina's loss almost destroyed Team Daigurn.
Yeah. Because everyone thought it was Kamina that was the core of the team for no pun intended, since Simone's the one that carries the core drill. So I didn't mean the pun, but it works. But it turns out Kamina always saw Simone as the one that kept the whole team together, like the whole reason that the
Right,
team exists.
right,
Like, but he just let everyone think it was him, which was nice. Or like I like the other metaphor. Like you don't realize it was like the first two episodes where Simone's like crawling around with his mask on and Kamina's following him. You don't realize
hmm
it's a metaphor, but like when Kamina's dying and he explains like that's actually like how Kamina saw everything is that Simone's like wherever Simone's looking is where Kamina's going. Like the light, like he's the light that shines forward for everyone. It's actually Simone and not Kamina, even though everyone else thinks it's Kamina. But Kamina's just like, if Simone's can't do it, then I fucking can't do it either.
and you point that out, and it hit me like a truck because it was Yoko that brought that to our attention in that same kind of moment when she told us that when they had that talk when they both were sitting down and Kamina told her that um it's always Simone that's going forward. He talked about the time when correct, I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, she doesn't
It was
talk about it
after
until they're in
yeah,
prison.
it was after Vertigo. Oh, it was one of the fights after Vertigo was the first time we see Kamina lose his fighting spirit. And bruh, I'm trying to remember now because it's
Are
bruh.
you talking about like where Viral's beating the shit out of him?
Yeah, like they was getting beat the fuck up. Like for lack of better words. Like they was getting beat the fuck up. And Kamina was losing it. He was losing his fighting spirit because he was over like thinking, damn, I can't do it. Like maybe I should just leave because it was at that point in the story I was getting tired of Simone always talking about he wanted to leave. And to see Simone pop up and like, nah, we got to keep fighting. Like, ain't this what you always say? And he used his own words against him, and then they end up winning off of Simone's fighting spirit coming to life. And I felt that was the same moment he was talking about because in common knows a real warrior know every time they fall. Like you'll never have to tell a real warrior every time they fall because they use it as a ways to go forward, use it as a lessons for learning, and the means to do better the next time. And Common in his real warrior spirit remember that time, and he so much as bled it out to Yoko to a point she looked up to him, had a thing for him, thinking he was the whole, you know what I'm saying, the leader and centerpiece.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause even she fell for the same illusion that everybody else fell for. But it was common to let it go to her that hey, it's not me, it's Simone who keep this thing going. And it was in that same moment that he also had to remind that to Simone himself before he perished inevitably. But that also is a metaphor looking back because if it was any point in time you'd expect Common to die, it would be to save Simone. And I'm glad it was more so of a figurative save than a literal save because I felt the literal save probably would have been more so cliche. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Y'all let me know in the comments if I'm full of shit right now. But like just how they kind of saved him from himself, which was the only thing Common could do for Simone is the way Common kind of viewed it anyway, if that makes sense.
So, and then there's one thing I do want to talk about before we get too far
Hit it,
is in episode 5, the where we meet Rocio and all them.
Ross. Yeah,
Yeah, what's
yeah,
the name
no,
of the
yeah.
episode again? I don't get it, not one bit. Um
Yep.
it's a lot of people aren't going to know what I'm talking about here, but it's clearly based on a short story by Shirley Jackson called The Lottery. It was published in the New Yorker on June 26th, 1948. It's for something that came out in 1948, it's pretty dark. It's like
That's
I'm trying
prime
to think
Dark
of
Ages
how
actually.
to well like back then there's not like a ton of dark stories, you know what I mean? Like that they're posted in like papers. But like this one,
Oh, so you
it's
saying
not
that?
a
I
horror
see what you're saying.
story. Like it's not a horror
I
story.
see exactly what you're
It's
saying.
like I think they call it like black fiction, like a dark fiction. You know what I'm talking about? Like sort of like how there's black comedies and then black tragedies and then there's another one and that's what this would fall in. It just means like with like dark endings. Like I can't remember the word for it, but it's basically like I'm trying to think of a way to describe it without just straight up reading it because it'd take about 15 minutes to read it. But basically, the what happens is it's a tradition once a year. Every town, city, and like municipality in America has to do this thing called the lottery, and they've been doing it for longer than anyone can remember. Like longer than anyone that lives in the town that the story takes place can remember. But it happens every year. And they don't tell you what's happening in the lottery. They just there's just it's implied you don't want to win it, and the story starts off like very, I don't know the right word, I guess nonchalantly, with it's just talking about like kids for some reason are playing with rocks and like stacking them up real high, and then it cuts through what's going on, and then you get to the lottery portion, and they're basically pulling lots, and whoever loses the lot pool, I'm pretty sure you can guess what happens to whoever loses the lot pool. Um, but I
Use your context
recommend
clues.
I recommend you listening to the story or reading it because you can find there's a couple of really good audiobook versions on YouTube for free. But it's basically like talking about how bad just listening tradition for the sake of tradition is what the story is about. But it basically ends with you finding out why the kids were stacking up rocks. And it's because the work of the children is the thing that is used to the whoever loses the lottery is killed by the townsfolk with the rocks that the kids collect. Which you gotta that's pretty fucking dark for a story in 1948. Like that they published in like a newspaper. But
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
but that's there's like no way you can tell me that episode 5 of Gurren Lagann is not based off that, because it's like the earliest example of a story where it's like a lottery where the implication is you want to win because of how it's written, but it turns out whoever wins the lottery is actually killed. And in the story, it's darker than the person that wins the lottery. It's not the person that wins the lottery, it's the household of the person that wins the lottery.
Yep.
And then they're killed by the rest of their neighbors. Like they're violently killed by their neighbors. And that's what episode 5 of Gurren Lagann is. And I just thought it was cool
See,
because
I can see
I
it.
didn't know this lottery story existed. Like the last time I watched Gurren Lagann, I didn't know this story existed. I just stumbled upon this story one day. Okay, it was like I was like watching a video at work about like the story that inspired a bunch of other things, and it was this the lottery, and that's how I learned about it. And then you see like Rocio, like how this ties into Gurren Lagann, is that the lottery and how Magin taught him how to live his life from a young age is basically how Rocio tries to run the entire world until he learns when he talks to Magin as an adult that Magin was just winging it based off tradition, but he also
Yep.
didn't know where the tradition came from. Like he's just like,
He didn't even know.
I
He
can't
didn't even know
even
it was in the
read.
book.
Yeah, he was like, I can't even read. And like, I was just like, dude, there's no way they didn't base this off Shirley Jackson's story. And I thought it was just a
Yeah, I thought
cool,
that touch on the end was crazy. Like that
yeah.
was my like head blown moment. Like what the hell just happened? Like what do you mean you can't read the book? You did all that junk. Yeah, I
But yeah,
get you.
at this,
I understand
like,
wholeheartedly.
if you, it like, it makes you, like, after you've read the lottery, it makes you hate Rocio a little bit less. Um,
Yeah. Nah,
because
yeah.
I
Nah, he definitely redeemed himself towards the end because I
yeah,
was I was ready to freaking destroy him. Like I was ready for him to die. I
but
wholeheartedly was ready for him to die. But at the end, when you see him go and talk to the old, minister and stuff, and you see him literally say that he book. Can you even read in the book? Nope. I didn't even know it was in it. And he was just going off tradition, so you're just another pawn of the same tradition that corrupted him.
yeah, so I
So,
just thought it was worth bringing up because it's
oh
cool
no,
that like the
100% worth bringing
idea
it up.
of this story lottery, which it's only 13 pages long, and you can just find it on Google. Like if you Google it,
And it
you can just
was,
find it on Google Books for free. I highly recommend reading it. It's a
dude,
very
in a
good
way, the
read.
story set that up too, because I was more so looking at that being the anti-metaphor for what Common is like everything he stood for. Because like he just left the village where he was telling people to go to the surface because there was something up there,
When
and they was
it
literally just telling him it was bad.
it does make
Like don't
common
go up there.
a metaphor for that because the story of the lottery is a it's supposed to talk about how blindly conforming to traditions, if you don't know where the
Yeah,
tradition comes from or why you do it, it's bad to do it because then it could just end up harming everybody in the group. And then like Kamina's whole thing is like, if it doesn't help us, why the fuck are we doing it? We're just stuck in a place where we can't see the sky. And so like Common is like the answer to the lottery that Shirley Jackson didn't have. You know what I mean? So I just thought it was like it's or not that Shirley Jackson didn't have. It's the whole thing's a warning, and then it's like Kamina is the like this is how you should have done it. But I highly recommend the story. It's really well written and crafted, and I know I kind of had to spoil the end of it here, but in my defense, the book cover spoils it too. Like the cover of the actual book that it was in when it got published in a book is a bunch of rocks, and one of the rocks is covered in blood. So it totally gives it away because like the first page talks about children stacking rocks. So it's like though if you do the audio version, you might not see the thing about rocks, but still, it's just it's so interesting how a story like that from an American newspaper would clearly made its way to Japan like that. And then someone was just like, this would go perfect in our mecha anime, which just cracks me up. I just find it hilarious that they're just like, that's a good moral story. We should definitely put it in our mecha anime. Because if you think about like Kamina is the antithesis of the lottery system, and Lord Genome has a lottery system in place technically if you think about it. Especially like when you get to the halfway point in the show where we learn like once there's a million people, something's going to show up to kill everyone, and it looks like the lottery setup. Like when you see the thing that counts the number of humans on the surface, like if you it looks like a thing with lottery numbers on it too. So there's no way they didn't. I don't believe there's a world where they didn't. Somebody on the production team hadn't read the lottery and thought it was good. So I thought it was worth bringing up because it feels like one of the. Yeah, apologize for the yawn. It feels like one of the core things that it's telling you, like, I think the central thing that you learn from Gurren Lagann is that you want to become the version of your friend, the version of yourself that your friends see, and then I think the other main lesson that Gurren Lagann teaches you is that blind conformity, just because tradition dictates you should do it, doesn't mean it's right. And I think episode 5, and then later on, when Rocio throws his mini coup, like outlines that perfectly. So that's why wanted to bring it up before we moved on.
the one fact that he mentioned in the coup was just how he when he you see that he was bringing people up from the service for the sole reason of just counting them. is when I felt like all that came into the biggest circle.
Yeah. Also, like the whole thing where Rocio, like you can tell he's doing it not because he wants to, but at first they make it seem like I like how they do that. They make it seem like he's doing it because that's what he wants, and then you get to see what's her name? What is Keaton's youngest sister's name? I can't remember the
Think
or
of it.
it's the
I
middle
know you're talking.
sister. It's not the youngest sister. It's not the youngest sister. The youngest sister's with helping the oldest sister raise Anne. I can't remember the middle sister's name, the one with glasses. And like that's the entire reason she has a crush on Rusio is that is like that Rusio will do whatever he thinks he has to, but you can tell like when he's laying there or he's not laying there, he's like at the foot of his bed on his knees crying, and it makes you go, God damn it, I'm not mad at you anymore now. I'm mad at the situation. I wanted to hate you, Rusio. Fuck you. How dare you get yourself out of this bullshit?
He was
Like,
definitely
make me feel
hated all
bad
the way
for
up
you.
until he was definitely hated all the way up until the point that he talked to that priest.
Yeah, and then
It got
his
easier, but yeah,
his
I
plan.
didn't.
I didn't like his plan though. Fuck his plan. His plan was terrible.
His plan was awful. That was absolutely awful.
Not just the takeover part, but I'm talking about like when he ran into Father Magin, and his plan was he was going to shoot himself.
Yep.
Like he took a revolver and everything in there, and they teleported to it. They unlocked spiral teleportation, and that's how they stopped him. But
Hmm.
that's neither here nor there. I just think it's cool the parallels with this random story that most people won't even know existed. That's published in a magazine called The New Yorker in June 1948. Like in the middle of the Cold War. Well, this isn't the middle. This is the beginning of the Cold War, but you know what I mean. I just thought it was worth pointing out and showing. Mm, sorry about that yawn, man. I can't stop yawning. And then we got after that, we get the like we started talking about before I needed to go on the little tangent about the lottery. We have the capturing Daigunzen, and I love how Simone's just like, I can't do it, big bro. I can't do it. And Kamina's just like, listen here, you little shit. What he actually says though is, Simone, who the hell do you think you are? Your drill is the drill that's gonna bore through heaven and earth, and even tomorrow, when you're sitting there dawdling for, we've won, kid. That behemoth belongs to you now. And you could like think of it like how I like to think of that moment is he's basically capturing the arc. Like if you want to think about it that way, like it's kind of like getting Noah's Ark. At least that's how like it feels like a metaphor for that. You know what I mean? Like the arc that carries the people forward, like capturing the battleship, like the like what's a good way to say it? Like it's like him being able to take over Daigunzen feels like the first real win over like these impossible circumstances that they have, because it's like the first thing that like actually fucks up the enemy, like it's the thing that makes everything go crazy for the beastmen, which is awesome. And then right before Kamina dies, we get, in my opinion, his best line in the show. It's not his most iconic, but it's my favorite line personally, and I think it's his best line. And it's the listen close, Simone. Believe in yourself, not in the Simone that I believe in, not the Kamina you believe in. Have faith in the Simone that you believe in. Like, bruh. Whoever wrote Kamina deserves an award because he dropped so many hard ass lines. Like, I don't know how he came up with all this stuff. Like, I don't I don't get it. I don't I don't know how they came up with all this stuff. Do you have any clue?
being ahead of their time.
Being ahead of their time feels like an understatement with some of this stuff, man. And then I also love the fact that Lord Genome's name is Lord Genome because his name is literally Lord Genome, and genome is the entire set of DNA instructions found in a cell. So he's literally just the Lord of DNA instructions, which is hilarious when you think about it. That being his name, because he
A whole
literally,
metaphor for a spiral.
yeah, because that's what they explain by the end of it. Like the reason it's called spiral power is because that's the shape of the DNA of spiral beings. Because it's a double helix and that makes a spiral. So I think it's funny that his name is literally just DNA instructions, Lord DNA instructions. That always cracked me up. Like, because I remember like watching it in middle school and not realizing that's what it was. And then when I rewatched it later on, every time I'm just like, home dude's name is just DNA, Lord DNA instructions. What the fuck? But at first, when I was younger, when I was like, what, 13, it didn't make any sense to me. But after a few more biology classes, it's just like, oh my God, that's such a funny pun. And it just cracks me up to this day every time I hear them say his name. And I'm always just like, every time. It's just like Lord DNA instructions. And his power comes from his DNA, so it's it just cracks me up. And then another thing to talk about is episode 9. The that is one of the saddest opening episodes in my opinion. Cuz like it starts off with Rocio and Simone fighting are going to fight, and Simone fights like he wants to wipe Beastman off the face of the planet, and Lagann doesn't want to listen to him because of it. But if you remember, he like before he was just going to defeat the Beastman, but he straight up goes like for the kill every single time with them. Like he throws one of them to the ground and he just starts stomping on the cockpit repeatedly so the whoever's in there can't get out. And you can just tell like he's just like it should have been me, it should have been me, it should have like every time he stomps, even though he's not saying it, and he just can't get over the death of his bro. And then you see he finds Nia, and for a split second after finding Nia, he's like he gets a little bit of his normal self back, but it's just for like a split second. Just for a split second. And then when he has to run away from the thing that's attacking him and Nia, he gets it back again. But it's just for like a split second, and he doesn't get to keep it. Also, another thing that I forgot to mention at the start of the episode, um, the color saturation is different than normally in the show. Like if you remember, like all the colors hues, they're super muted compared to normal, while Simone's still upset. Like even the bright stuff is still like it's like it has a gray haze over it compared to normal. And I can show it off real quick. What I'm talking about. So let me find it. Like like this, we can see like there's gray when he's got the flashback. But if we see like the actual episode, it's like all grayed out at the beginning. Like it's all grayed out whenever Simone's around, and then it's bright again when it's not on Simone. Like it's bright, like it's normal setup with everybody else. And then when it goes back to Simone being in the picture, it's dulled again. like the saturation's completely off. Even like when you see like the bright, like you can see the bright colors overcoming it, but whenever it's stuff about Simone, it's dark again. It's muted. The saturation's completely different, and that's until he finds Nia. And you see like she's bright, her colors aren't muted and unsaturated, and then it like bleeds over to Simone a little bit when he's looking at her. But then she gets in Simone's world to see his sadness, and then she's even muted too. But then you see he gets it for a bit. He gets a little bit more unmuted and unsaturated, trying to protect her. But then he gets sad again, and you see it like the color. And then when Nia helps him deal with it, you see he's back to it's back to bright colors. And then after the adrenaline of the fight in the next episode, when he's like making the pictures and stuff, you can see it's all dark again. Where is it at? Yeah, you can see like like when he talks to him on the bridge, like Nia's in the light, but you see like how they use shadows and stuff on Simone to show off that he's still sad. Like he's more muted than everybody else, and he looks away from the light. And then you see Lagann for a second, and then you see Yoko, and you see both of them are in the light and everything, and they're in the sunlight and they're not super sad. But then you just look at Simone, and like 90% of his body's in the shadows, and he just sinks deeper and deeper into the shadows as they try to talk to him, just like he did when he was in the tunnels. And then you see when he finally, where's it at? Gets it. Yeah, he finally like gets his stuff together when she tries to kill Nia. When the Scorpion Lady tries to kill Nia, and he's just like, "Damn it, fuck it," and he runs out of the shadows and directly into the fight. And running into the fight, runs into the light, and everyone else is with him. And that's finally when he gets out of his funk and understands like what the loss means. Like it doesn't mean that he can't move on and everything. And he finally learns how to deal with the loss of his brother in Kamino. And I just think that it's really cool how they use color, like the colors around Simone, to show that off. Because as we see him throughout it, like when he's in the fight, he's good. And then once he's out the fight, we can see he goes right back to it, where he's just in the darkness again. But Nia is, we see over time, Nia's the one that pulls him out of it. I think this is the episode. Yeah, where he's making the statues. And the only light is on Kamina. Like the only light for him is the one that's on Kamina. Because you could see it as he saw Kamina as his light. And this is the episode where we get that the speech that you were talking about, Dragon, where Simone digs out the hole. And so I just I just really like the color theory stuff there.
Use a lot of the artwork to kind of mellow the whole point that they're trying to drive home in a lot of the scenes and a lot
Yeah,
of
that's what
the
it feels like. And
and a
personally,
lot
I
of the
just think
scenes,
that's
a lot
awesome.
of the sequences. Yeah. Especially like the end when they put Nia into that whole situation, into that whole fray, it was almost like you found a diamond in the rough because you know you found her in a junkyard.
Yeah, especially when you learn like the truth of the matter, like all the other boxes or
Boy,
her siblings.
that was one of them ones. That was one of them ones.
And it doesn't tell you if he like made them Like if Lord Jamon made them with his genetic prowess, like his mastery of genetics, or if it's the or she's a daughter of one of the girls from this village. It doesn't tell you. It's implied that it's what's it called? That she's like a clone of his DNA. But since she has spiral power, there's no way of knowing for sure. Because that's why, if you remember, that's why Beastmen don't inherently have spiral power. Is because they're just clones that Lord Genome made. So my personal headcanon is that she's the that all the daughters and sons are from those like the concubines that he has. My personal headcanon is that's what it is. Because remember, the old man that's there all the time was a beast man that was cloned directly to serve as Nia's keeper. Like the old man that they meet at the hot spring that leads them to the hot spring because he's slowly leading them to where Nia is. I can't remember his name, but he was like Lord
Oh,
Genome
Master
mating.
Gramps.
Yeah. Um, like at the end of the series, he fixes the flag to help him save like Team Gurren, Dai Gurren's flag and everything. Can't remember his name.
He be in a lot of places at the right time.
Yeah, and it's all to like save Nia. I can't remember his name because he has like an official name. Stupid thing.
Yeah, I've
Nia's
always known dude is Gramps.
butler. I can't remember. Yeah, I know what her name is. Stupid thing. Yeah, maybe his name was just Gramps, but I could have sworn was given an actual name. Yeah, I can't remember. But it's just and like he's the one that saves the life from the armadillo beastman guy too. Like he walks up and pushes the gun out the way, and you're just like, why is he always there to save her whenever she needs it? And it turns out because he was designed specifically to save her from everything. And then the Lord Jim fight was I always loved that fight where they fight Lord Genome gets his own gunman and what's it called? Simon still beats the shit out of him. Simone's just like, nice try, big dog. But mine has bullshit too. Like my gunman's better than yours because my gunman feeds off the power of big dick energy and just proceeds to fade the shit out of Lord Genome. Or like the fact that like how adaptable Gurren Lagann is, that he steals one of the jetpacks from one of Saito Mander's men, and he's just like, "This is mine now." And how it connects itself is that drills, like the drills on the back of Gurren Lagann, like pierce into the jetpack, so now it works for him. And he's got like a transformer style backpack. And the more I talk about this, the more I want to rewatch the show again.
Oh, of course. I told you it's one of them shows, man. You gonna always read.
Like, like, like I don't like it as much as Hunter x Hunter, but man, it's fucking close. Like I don't like it as much as Dragon Ball Z or Hunter x Hunter, but man, it's up there. And I also love the plot twist that we get at the like little over halfway point once the spirals show up. When Rossio's just like, okay, we got the computer that's just Lord Genome's memories, and Lord Genome's just like, yeah, the reason that the gunmen work in your new fangled, whatever you want to call them, things don't work against the anti spiral is because gunmen are specifically designed to kill anti spirals. And it's just like, what? Like, that's why you learn, like, that's why the gunmen are so much better than the, what are they called? what are the things that Guinea and Lemmy drive?
Because they don't call them gunmen, they call them something
Yeah, they're
else.
like die breakers or something like that. The
It's like some
mass.
kind of derivative. Felt like Gurren, some kind of Gurren Lager fucking derivative or something.
Damn it. I'm trying to find it real fast. When I tried to look it up, it popped up about fucking mass shootings. Grab
What the
pearls.
hell?
That's it. Grab pearls. The mass produced grab pearls. Did the successors, and it was tended to be upgraded, but they're much weaker because they don't run off spiral power, which is why they don't work against the what's it
That's
called?
interesting. That's interesting. I didn't realize they didn't run off spiral power, but it makes
Yeah,
all the
they
now it
didn't.
makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah, if
It
you
makes all
remember,
the
they
sense in
don't.
the world now.
Simone's like one of the only humans that can access spot like can use spiral power like willingly in the story, which like makes sense because like it implies like what's it called is like doing it all the time. Like Kamino was doing it all the time, and like that's how Kamino was doing it. So it was just man, it's just the more I'm talking about this, the more I want to go fucking play it, man, or watch it. I don't know why I said play it, but yeah, man, yeah, it makes me like I just want to like throw it on in the background, listen to Kamina, fucking like hype me up and stuff while I do stuff. Like another thing it makes you want to do, it makes you want to go to the gym. That's another thing this show does. Like I remember watching it, it'd be like 10 o'clock at night, watching a couple more episodes, and then I'll just be like, here, Kamina, say something. It's just like, well, time to go to the gym. Fuck, it's 10 o'clock at night. Can't do that right now. I might be like the only person in the world that feels that way, but it just randomly does sometimes, and it just cracks me up. This is turning into a glaze session about it, and I apologize, but I love the show. And then we get Rocio's coup. That was not really a coup, but sorry, I got a fly in my room that's getting on my last goddamn nerves. Stupid fucking fly. But we get all that stuff with Rocio's coup. We get the Rocio's coup. Viral joining the humans. The Viral joining the humans is cool. I like when they actually fight. Like Viral and Simone fight, and Viral thought like Simone wasn't anything special. He thought it was all Kamina, and then it turns out that he couldn't do shit to Simone, and Simone just dodged everything. And he's just like, wait a minute, maybe Kamina wasn't the special one. Like you could see, he's just like, damn, this kid's got moves. And we learned like the reason Viral's so strong now is because Lord Jamon, Lord Genome, gave him a body that's basically Deadpool, so he can't die now, and it's so he can be the chronicler of supposed to be Lord Jamon's story, but it turns out is really about how humanity survived. Like he's gonna chronicle how humanity survived the anti spirals, which I think is a really good touch. And then we get the Nia stuff right after, like Nia getting turned into the messenger right after they show up. Sorry, this fly is getting on my last nerve. Sorry about having blow into the mic. It's landing on the mic, and it's driving me insane. I apologize for that interruption. Um, and then we get the riots, the people rioting because they're mad at Simone for blowing stuff up. But how are you gonna be mad at him blowing stuff up when if he didn't blow the stuff up, it would have killed everyone on the planet?
I still felt like that was a whole sacrifice, a necessary sacrifice.
Like, like sure, your house got blown up, and you're mad that you might have to live a shittier life than you used to. Like, what the fuck is your problem, guys? Like, they gotta, like, the people in this show, I hated so much because they're just like, there's a dude out here willing to sacrifice everything, including the love of his life, to save you guys. And y'all are just like, fuck him, he blew up my car. Fuck him, he blew up my car. Like, fucking acting like, I don't know if y'all seen Daredevil Born Again, but acting like like, what's it, Wilson Fisk in the Born Again stuff where he's talking about vigilantes. And that's a different story for a different day. Don't watch that show. It's not that good. But I digress. The citizens of New Communist City piss me off so much, especially when they destroyed the statue of Kamina.
Yeah, at that point they went too far.
Yeah, like what the fuck? Like all y'all are old enough to know that they're the entire reason that you don't live in a fucking hole anymore. Like because
That
it's only
only
been
been
7
8
years. So all of them were teenagers living in a fucking hole. Like it's so like they're such bitches. Like
damn dog.
sure there's explosions. Like sure. Like sure. But you're fighting for survival. You just heard the lady explain that if Simone can't pull this off, everyone dies. But not like it's just like, dude, what the fuck? Like, they piss me off so much. Like, oh my god, the citizens of New Communist City, like, they're some of my least favorite characters in anything ever. It's like it's his fault the moon is falling for bringing us to the surface. Just like you dumb fucks. No, it's not. It's the people. It's like blaming somebody for you get like it's like when they're just like, you know, when the bad guy says, I wouldn't have had to shoot them if you would have just picked one of them. You know what I mean? Like in a show. Just like, well, if you wouldn't have made me pick one of them in the first place, none of them would have got a shot. How the fuck is this my fault? Sort of thing. Like, none of it's my fault. You're the one with the fucking gun. Like, that's how they remind me of. Like that false dichotomy, or the false premise of blame that they thrust on him. And I'm just like, yo, fuck y'all. God damn you all. And they make me so mad. And I think they're supposed to make you mad. Like, I think they're supposed to piss you off. Because, like, half of them, like, everyone that served with Simone in, like, their makeshift army of Gurren, like, everyone that served in Gurren was just like, Rocio's a fucking bitch. Fuck him. This ain't right. You know what I mean? Like, Keaton, the dude that married Keaton's little sister, Daigusa, Yoko when Yoko comes back from teaching school. Also, let's just take a minute to talk about MILF Yoko is probably like the hottest female character of all time. I will not be taking any arguments from that. I will not be taking any criticisms on that take. But what's it called? Like everyone that served in Gurren thought Rocio was a prick and doing the wrong thing, except for the one black sibling, the middle one, the middle sister. Everyone else thought Rocio was out of his mind that actually served and fought, which I think just says a lot. Like even Leron Attenborough, and what's the other guy's name that worked in the that worked with Leron on the bridge? I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but you remember Attenborough because he's the dummy that like wanted to press the buttons all the time. So I remember him. But everyone that served thought Rocio was out of line and acting like an idiot. Which I'm just venting at this moment about how much I hate those guys, and I apologize. And taking my anger out on Rocio and the citizens of New Kamina City. I'm sorry, I'll stop. And then we get Yoko breaking out, breaking what's it called, him out of prison, which was dope. Because we get the little flashback for from Yoko, what Yoko has been through. And then that massive slap in the face moment where Rocio tells Yoko that he should come, that or that she should hop on the arc, felt like a slap in the face towards Yoko. You know what I mean? The you're someone who ought to survive, but the way Yoko sees it is everyone deserves to survive, so she's gonna fight. That moment was sick, where she basically is just like, "You idiot, no." And then we get the setup where they fight the fucking moon, and we get the sad moment where what's his name dies right afterwards. A couple of the side characters, and then during the final battle,
Keaton and
yeah, Keaton dies. Um, the twins die. I don't remember their name.
Jordan, uh, Jordan,
Um,
some other shit. I forget. I just know
yeah,
Jordan.
it's like and then the what's it the like the dude that's always smoking dies. So many people die. So many people die. On the way there, and then we get the dope moment where they get trapped in the different universes, like when they're fighting the anti-spiral, when it feels threatened, which was always live to me when he has to. They're just like, you're gonna have to experience every universe at the same time now, or experience the multiverse at the same time. And you know what it reminds me of that moment when that happens. I know it's not the exact same thing, but it like has the same effect. And that's it reminds me of Infinite Void, you know, Gojo from JJK's what's it called? Domain expansion. Because it has like the same effect, is that your mind has to go through so many things at one time. Like it's processing so many things at one time that it can't move, or it doesn't allow you to move. Like your body can't move. But I love that Simone like realizes like this can't be real. Just cut, and I'm gonna overcome it. And he absorbs all the different versions of himself that he came in contact with. And according to the guidebook, this is gonna be like a little thing that a lot of people don't know. According to the guidebook, one of the ones that he absorbed is one of the authors of Gurren Lagann, which is crazy. Like the version of himself, one of the universes in the multiverse that he experienced of himself and absorbs is the version of himself that wrote Gurren, or at least helped write Gurren Lagann, which is really dope. So it implies that he absorbs the version of himself in our world, which is crazy. Which just adds to the fact, like, the claim that Simone might be the strongest fictional character of all time. And I love he does all this stuff, not just to save humanity, but also to save his fiance, which is lit. And he saves her. And then they have the fight to end all fights. Like, where they're throwing, like, actual universes at each other. Or, like, the anti-spiral
Actually,
uses... Yeah. Or the anti-spiral creates a new Big Bang and uses that as, like, an energy beam to hit Team Gurren. Team Gurren. And then... So... There's also the movie version, which is apparently the canon version. And that's where they get the dope moment where they turn into the thing that is the size of multiple universes. The what's it called again?
Thinking top of Gurren Lagann.
Yeah, that one. Where they're just where it basically turned into a giant kamina.
Yeah.
Apparently, the size of the giant the hold up, what's it called? I found it earlier. Let me see if I can pull it back up again. Topa size. So where is it at? So the Super Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann, the one from the movie, is estimated to be approximately. So this is how, like, the size of it. It's approximately 10.4 trillion light years tall. Yeah, which is insane. Like, that's insane. Like, and then the Tengen Toppa, which is like the smaller version, from the one that's in the anime, is approximately 158 billion light years tall. Yep. Fuck. It's fucking fly, dude. What the fuck? Sorry.
The accumulation of all everything they had came to was literally put together in those moments. Like you needed to understand how Gurren Lagann had operated. It was at that moment in which like they literally like downgraded from their max form down to their most finite form. It literally tells you everything the way that they kind of was doing it, like tooth and nail, going until you have nothing left, and the full embodiment of just pure willpower, just shown on full display. And
Yeah, it's
man,
so dope, dude. I love it. And then apparently the Giga Drill that he uses at the end is over a quadrillion light years tall. The Giga Drill that the Super Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann uses is like hundreds of times bigger than the observable universe. Damn, that's crazy. That's that's a that's a number that like we can't even quantify as human beings. Like like can't even imagine how big that is. And it's crazy that like it's that big, but the people of Earth got to see it fight like it was Power Rangers, like the Power Rangers Megazords going at it. And then I love when he's giving him the hands, because in the movie version of the final fight, where they do the thing where the Super Topa Gurren Lagann, or the Super Tengen Topa Gurren Lagann, does its Giga Drill impact, and then it breaks down into each version that they unlocked up until the smallest one. In the movie one where he pops out and he's just beating the shit out of the dude with his bare hands. Um, like during it's not a beam struggle, I guess it's a drill struggle. They Anti-Spiral's like, you continue to struggle even knowing what you know now. Simone, of course I do. The tomorrow we're trying to grab for ourselves isn't the tomorrow that you've set out for us. It's the tomorrow that we chose for ourselves. A tomorrow we chose out of all the infinite universes. We'll fight our way through. We'll keep fighting and protect the universe. We'll stop the spiral nemesis too. And then in the movie version, he proceeds to beat the fuck out of the anti-spiral with his bare hands, and it's one of the hypest things I've ever seen in my life. And I watched the Max Holloway Justin Gaethje fight at UFC 300, and I still think the movie ending is more hype than that. And I don't know if y'all have watched that fight that I'm talking about. Um, but it has like one of the craziest knockout ever in like the last 10 seconds or the last second. Let me see if I can find the knockout real quick for you guys. Oh my god, I hate this so much. What's it called? YouTube, get rid of these unskippable ads, please.
That's why we get premium.
No, they're adding it to premium now too, apparently.
I haven't
Here we
seen
go.
any problems.
There we go. I found it. Like, so this sequence, like that sequence is less hype than the movie version of Gurren Lagann's ending. Okay? So, in other words, you need to go watch that. It's more hype than this fight was. So, if you haven't seen it, I need y'all to go watch it. You will not regret it. It is one of the hypest thing ever when Simone just starts throwing fucking hands with the embodiment of the death of the universe. And it all started because his friend told him he could achieve anything he wanted to. Like, also, that KO only had 25 minutes of build up. The him beating the shit out of the anti spiral with his bare hands had like, what is it? How many hours of build up? 20-minute episodes. There's 27 of them. So 27 times 20 divided by 60. So you had 9 hours of build up compared to 25 minutes too. So of course the build up's going to be crazier there, but I remember watching that for the first time, like the movie version, watching it for the first time. I think it was like 6 years ago, something like that. Because it was way after that, because the movie came out in not this one. That's the one with there's a movie where Kamen is still alive and then a movie where he's not, if I remember correctly. Or one's like a cinematic retelling, that's right. That leaves out a bunch of stuff. Yeah. Yeah, that's what it was. They're like cinematic retellings, but it's fire. I can't recommend it enough. Please go watch that final fight. We don't have enough time to show the whole thing. We don't want to get copyright struck for showing the entire fight because the entire final sequence is like, what was it, like 8 minutes long, I believe, if I remember
Somewhere
correctly.
around.
It's something around there. It's close to 8 minutes, but it's one of the most hype moments in anime. Like I can't think of like it's not the best fight scene, but it's the most hype fight scene. Like I don't think there's a fight scene that gets my blood pumping and gets me more excited than that one. Than that scene. Like I think like the real life equivalent, like the only thing that gets me as hyped as that was the Israel Adesanya and Alex Pereira knockout. Like that's the only thing that gets as close to that fight scene for me. I'm just like, holy shit, fuck yeah. That's like the only thing. And I watch way too much MMA for my own good. Maybe the Mighty Mouse knockout of Marias too, because that one's fucking crazy also. But that's like the only two fights that I can think of off the top of my head that get me half as hyped up as that fight. And it's all like the where Simone's throwing hands with the antithesis of life. He's literally fighting the idea of the heat death of the universe. Like, and when you think about it, like thematically, what it means is crazy. like the thematic ideals of what it represents that he's fighting. Because if you think about it, he's fighting the entropy of the universe. He's fighting the inevitable death of all things in the universe. He's fighting the negativity in his life. Like he's fighting the incarnation of death itself. Like he's fighting like basically like every negative aspect of life and the universe, all poured into one being, and he's just throwing hands with it for just like a minute, and it's it's an unbelievable moment. I recommend everyone watch it. Trust me, it's worth it. It goes so hard. Um, and I know it feels like I'm overselling it, but you can ask Dragon. I don't think I am. I
No,
think it
he's not
really is that
wholeheartedly.
hype. Like I really
If
think
you've
it's
never
that
seen
hype.
the theatrical ending, if you are a person who is one of our viewers who is watching this show and you have already seen Gurren Lagann and you are hearing Corrupt talk about this theatrical ending and you have no idea what the hell he's talking about, you need to go look at it. And that ain't even no exaggeration or nothing like that. That's just on. If you watch this show and you enjoyed this show and you've never seen that ending, you need to watch that ending. It's just that simple. It's just that
Like
simple. There
I
ain't no way
remember
to
when I
ain't no way to cut it, no way to overcomplicate it or even dress it up more than that. It's just that simple. You just need
like
to go look at it.
I remember right after Dragon finished the regular version of it, I was just like, "Did you watch the movie version yet?" And he was like,
Then
"No."
you know
And I
what it
sent it to
was.
him, and I got to hear him listen to it, and he was losing his fucking mind.
Bro, that's
Like that's how
the
I knew it was
epitome. Like
like
it's the epitome of bringing everything that you've watched and seeing what they fought for come to like the epitome of like everything. And it's on so many different perspectives than just commoners like view. It looking at that fight is what Rocio should have done from the freaking beginning. Should have looked at the enemy like F you, we're gonna come handle you regardless of who the F you are, and we gonna put these hands on you. And that's exactly what happened. Because if Rocio would have never lost his footing, we would never went down this whole idea of just let's in person incarcerate everybody and let's only save what 640,000. That's all he wanted to. I don't even think it was that much. I think it was like three. It might have been 640. I can't remember the exact number. It was
they
not
couldn't
though.
fit that many people compared to it was like less than half of what they were hoping could fit. It was like not a very big number.
Yeah,
So
but
yeah,
nah, like seeing that ending and how it just encapsulates just everything about the show that it was trying to convey, and everything just so just intense just happens in that moment to just let you feel the entire like weight of just everything Kamina worked for, everything Simone worked for. It's just capsulated it well, and you need to watch it. I digress.
and then we
Watch it.
got the wedding between him and Nia. That's so fucking sad.
Yeah.
Cause what's it called? Nia did everything in her power to survive just a little bit longer. That way, her and what's it called can get married. Her and just so her and Simone can get married. It's super touching, in my opinion, because she so what basically happened is while she was the prisoner, she was being ripped apart at the informational level, and she was using the last bit of her spiral power to rebuild herself at the beyond molecular level, like at like the quark level, like rebuilding her atoms themselves from the information that the universe has of her actual existence in the first place. According, I think it's the guidebook that outlines how she did it, and so she basically has to focus like most of her ability to go through the extreme pain of not letting herself cease to exist just so she can marry Simone because she wanted to marry Simone at the end. Like that's so fucking sad. Like can you like I can't even imagine how painful that is. Like your like the mental anguish it takes to make yourself not cease to exist.
Huh. To fight the weight of freaking existence
Yeah,
itself.
yeah.
Portion.
She's basically fighting the weight of existence itself in her mind, and she also uses her spiral power in the fight with Simone, like to help Simone get into the final attack, like by getting inside Lagann with him. Like that's like one of the craziest pain feats, probably in my opinion, in the entire show. And if we remember, by the end of it, Simone's basically a god. Like he's not like he's almost God. Like not like because it's even an offhanded comment Yoko has. Like Simone has almost the exact powers of capital God, God, like the Christian ideal of God. Like Simone is basically that by the end of the story, after he absorbed the other versions of himself and beat the anti-spiral, because he has the power to like destroy universes at that point, like entire like multiverses at that point, and he can't use the power to save the love of his life. Like that has to be heartbreaking. All he gets to do is marry her, so he knew that she wanted to be with him for the rest of their life, which we see is probably a long time because there's the little in credit sequence at the end of the show that shows 20 years later and he doesn't look that old. Like in his 40s, he looks like he's in his 30s. So as long as he doesn't use spiral power to live forever like Lord Genome did, they were probably going to have a very long life. Just because he was probably easy living to his 60s or 70s. Without, because he probably does, like you can tell, he doesn't want to use spiral power to stay alive. Which just makes it even like their the sacrifice that those two do even crazier. And then I love like what Simone has to say before he leaves everything to everybody. He says, "We evolve past the person we were a minute before. Little by little, we advance a little further with each turn. That's how a drill works." And then he like leaves the core drill with Gimme and tells Gimme to lead the next generation. Like that he wants him to be him, like the like he wants him to like carry forward everything. And man, it's just so good and so sad and everything. And then there's the like like the big lesson, I think, like I was saying earlier, like how I think that ties into the big lesson that the anime teaches you is like at every point, at every turn in this anime, it's all about Simone becoming the man Kamina saw in him since they were kids, or since Simone was a little kid. Like everything is just Kamina saw in Simone the potential to be the greatest person. Like period. Like maybe like he might not have saw that Simone was going to be the savior of sentience in the entire multiverse. Like he might not have seen that, but he saw that Simone had the potential to save himself, save him, and everyone that they come in contact to. Just because Simone had the ability where he never gave up, he would just put his nose down and drill through any obstacle in his way, and he never stopped and would always keep going. And Kamina saw that, and then he slowly like made it to where Simone saw that, and then once Simone saw that, he literally saved the freaking multiverse. And I just think that's such a cool lesson to take, especially from an anime that's just supposed to be a parody of mechas, is that it's just like, oh no, the secret thing that the show is actually about is that you can, if you become the best version of yourself possible, you save the universe.
Have the potential to save the universe.
Yeah, because like if you achieve your potential, like the potential that you have inside yourself, who knows the potential in like the show, like that's literally what the show is saying. Like if you achieve your like if you become the person that you have the ability to be, if you achieve your potential, you could do almost anything, and that's what the show tells you. Like you can see it like shit, like instead of like save the universe, you could think of it at like save your universe, and it turns out you're the dude that cures cancer, or you're the chick that cures cancer. It could be you're the one that figures out like a perfectly safe renewable energy with none of the downside like that nuclear energy has. Like that could be you because you achieved your potential. You could you achieving your potential could be like finding Alzheimer's. That could be the anti-spiral you defeat. Like it just like at every point, if you achieve your potential, the show outlines that like becoming the person that your friends see in you, because your friends like you always see like a better version. Like you might not know what the better version of your friends are, but you can always see like moments of greatness in your friends. You know what I mean? Like the things that they could like achieve, and you're just like, man, if you if you just dug a little deeper, man, you'd be like the greatest person on the planet. You know what I mean? It's like have you ever seen Goodwill Hunting,
No,
Dragon?
but I've heard of it.
Then it's kind of hard to talk about it with Goodwill Hunting, but it's just like one of those things. Like if you become the version of yourself that your friends see in you, you save everybody. And that's, I just think that's one hell of a lesson to take from a show that was supposed to just parody Gundam, Astro Boy, and stuff like that. Like that's a hell of a lesson. It's, I'd argue it's one of the best lessons. Period. Like if you become all that you can be, like if you become the you that your friends believe you are, or if you become the you that Kamina believes you can be, then you stop entropy, you stop the destruction of life, you stop stagnation, like you just stop everything that's bad in your life and in other people's life. And that's how Gurren Lagann makes you better. But that's all I had to say about it, about the show. Did you have anything that you wanted to add, Dragon?
You ended pretty much perfectly on that last little run there. Like you said, pretty much everything I was gonna say, so you got it. But dog, if y'all had anything, of course, y'all know, jump in them comments, man. We appreciate everybody that stopped by. Appreciate everybody jumping in, taking the time to watch us and listen to us ramble on about these random anime. It really does mean a lot to us, man. You know, we're gonna try to keep it coming best we can. With that being said, what's you think the next? Well, we already discussed it. The next installment. What was it?
Edge
I can't
Runners.
never get that. Edge. That's what it is. Edge runners. I keep wanting to
Yeah,
say like
it's
maze runners. I know that's not it.
made by the same people, Studio Trigger. And I think they have one of the producers is the same. I don't remember which producer. So it's like very similar. It's also an original. It's not based off a manga like Gurren Lagann also. It's not based off a manga. The manga came afterwards. So, but yeah, that's we'll see y'all next week with an episode on Edge Runners. And thanks for stopping by. I'm Corrupted,
That's been Dragon.
and we hope you have a good one. Peace,
Be
everybody.
safe. Peace it out.